Is Duolingo a great app for language learners? Can you really use it to learn a new language? These are the questions I'll be answering in today's video. I don't want to be a hater. I know that Duolingo can be a great start for beginners, but there are some major highs and lows we absolutely need to talk about. This video is brought to you by Squarespace, a one-stop website platform for entrepreneurs to build beautiful websites, connect with their audience, and sell products or services easily. But more about them later. Let's first talk about all the arguments against using Duolingo. First of all, Duolingo is an app, which means that you can't really change your learning environment. It's very rigid. The exercises on the app are often predictable and repetitive, and because of that, a lot of people think that it creates this artificial environment. In a lot of cases, you can just guess the correct answer without actually thinking about it. Because your learning environment is restricted to a single app, all you're pretty much doing is the exercises that the app is giving you. And obviously, it is so much different from having a real conversation with a native speaker. Conversations are often spontaneous, like you don't know what this person is going to ask you, and the exercises on the app tend to be pretty much the same. And because of that, we move on to the second disadvantage, which is slow progress. People who only use Duolingo, they don't really progress very fast because, again, there is this artificial environment. You usually don't practice the language outside of the app, and there are so many other things you could be doing to make progress faster when it comes to learning a new language. Yes, maybe this repetition aspect helps people memorize words, but at the end of the day, you're not learning a lot of words. So if you were practicing by yourself, learning the language and then memorizing all the words with the help of Anki, you would progress faster. Obviously, on Duolingo, you're going to have limited speaking and listening practice. If you're only using one single app, that's what you're going to get. Duolingo doesn't offer a lot of speaking exercises or listening exercises, and it's going to be very different from real immersion when you're actively trying to immerse yourself into the language every single day. And plus, most people use Duolingo for like 5 or 10 minutes a day, which is better than nothing, yeah, but if we're talking about this full-on immersion, it's maybe not enough, especially if you want to improve your language skills fast. A lot of you guys who use Duolingo regularly will probably remember this sentence about drinking milk. It goes something like, I drink milk every day. I think that's what I saw on the Spanish path on Duolingo. And when I saw that, personally for me, it was not really relevant. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I was relying on translation. And this is another disadvantage of Duolingo, especially if you want to progress, get to this intermediate level, advanced level, you have to stop relying on translation. Over-reliance on translation can hinder thinking in this language directly. And I know what a lot of you guys are thinking right now, Veronica, I'm a beginner. I have to rely on translations. But actually, even a lot of beginners, in a lot of cases, don't. For example, if you're learning basic nouns or basic verbs, something like an apple or to eat, you don't need the translation. All you need is a picture, like a visual representation of this noun or verb or maybe adjective. I know sometimes it's harder to learn adjective this way, but especially nouns or verbs, and especially when you're a beginner. And once you start progressing, you actually don't really need translation either, because you can create definitions using the words you already know. If you're learning a very new, difficult word, how can you explain it in simple words in your target language? And so if all you do is translate back and forth, it can really slow down your progress. It can slow down the process of internalizing the language. And this phrase, internalizing any language, is actually a very interesting one. And I'm gonna tell you guys what it means and what goes into this process. Let's imagine you're building something out of Lego. A lot of kids use Lego, but I also know that a lot of adults absolutely love Lego. There are Lego sets that literally include thousands of pieces. And so adults enjoy building those things as well. And so the process of collecting all the Lego bricks would be the process of learning vocabulary. If I decide to learn a new language right now, let's say German, the first thing I'm gonna do is focus on increasing my vocabulary, because I literally don't know how to say anything in German. Then you hold all those bricks and you learn how they fit together, right? Because you actually have to like build a tower, let's say. And this is where grammar comes in, because grammar connects words together, just like, you know, you're learning how to fit all the bricks together. Then comes a lot of practice. You practice, practice, practice. It's all about building and rebuilding using the bricks that you already have and all the new bricks that you acquire along the journey. Then once you have already created something, you go out there and play with your friends or show your friends your creations. And that's when you actually start using the language in real life a lot. Like you start talking to people, you start, you know, experimenting with different words and asking people, oh, is that correct? Did I just say that correctly? Or can you correct my mistakes? Can you help me with grammar? Can you teach me some slang? Then once we have this solid base of experience, you know, building a lot of things with Lego, we start building just by using our imagination. And that's where thinking in a foreign language comes in, because once you already have this base, it becomes so much easier to start experimenting and thinking in your foreign language and singing in this language. And then, you know, you walk into your room, you knock over your creation and you start over. That's where you practice again and you make mistakes. You learn from them, you practice again, you make mistakes, you learn from them. And of course, a big part of becoming good at creating Lego things is practicing it consistently. Practicing it by yourself, with your friends, playing a little bit every single day. The same thing about language learning. It's all about consistent practice. And that's where a lot of people actually like Duolingo, but we'll talk about that later. So this is the process of internalizing the new language. And unfortunately, Duolingo lacks a few key components to help you internalize a new language better. Once you understand the basics of a language, you have to go out there and find more advanced resources. And unfortunately, Duolingo is not an advanced resource. There's no advanced grammar, no nuanced vocabulary like nuanced slang, let's say, or modern day slang, and obviously no cultural insights. And so if your goal is to become advanced in a language, you will absolutely have to look for other resources. I don't think that you can become advanced on Duolingo just by using this one resource. And so the main question that a lot of people have is, can you actually become fluent on Duolingo? And if your definition of fluency is the same as mine, where you can converse with people freely, you know a lot of advanced grammar rules, you know modern day slang, I would say no. I don't think you can become fluent, again, just by using Duolingo. If you're only relying on this app, I don't think it's possible. Before we talk about how Duolingo can become a fantastic tool for picking up new languages, I want to take a moment to talk about Squarespace. Just like Duolingo can simplify your language learning, Squarespace can simplify building a beautiful website. When I started Veronica's Language Diaries, I needed a platform that was intuitive and powerful, and Squarespace delivered. One feature I love is their Blueprint AI and SEO tools. The guided design system helped me create a personalized website tailored to my brand, and the SEO tools made it easy to get discovered quickly. I saw an increase in my site traffic almost immediately. Another fantastic feature is Fluent Engine. It's a next-generation website editor that lets you drag and drop elements easily. I customized every detail of my site without needing any coding skills, which was a game changer for me. Lastly, the courses feature is incredible. I've been able to create and sell my online courses effortlessly. If you guys have been following me here for a while, you probably remember that I used to have a speaking club and a book club that were hosted on Squarespace. I just picked a layout, uploaded all the content, and customized the design. This way my audience could enjoy engaging lessons, and I could generate additional income. If you're thinking of creating a website, I highly recommend Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com/Veronica to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain by using my code Veronica. Now let's move on to all the arguments for using Duolingo, and there are many, because again, I don't want to be a hater. I want this video to be as unbiased as possible. I want to present different arguments, and you do you choose for yourself. So first of all, I don't even know if I have to mention it, but Duolingo is fun. It's just fun, and that's enough. That's it. If you think about using a fun app that has like gamification features, really fun, interesting features, versus a boring, black and white grammar book or like a textbook, I mean, obviously you're going to choose a fun app, and that's why a lot of people love Duolingo. On Duolingo, you can earn points, you can level up, and you can maintain streaks, and all of that makes you want to come back. These amazing gamification features makes language learning fun, and that's something that I want for every single one of you guys learning a new language. I want you to have fun, because if you're not having fun, you're probably gonna quit so fast. And so if Duolingo helps you bring this element of fun into your language learning, that's amazing. Another huge benefit of Duolingo is that it helps a lot of people stay on track when life gets busy. I get it, we all live very busy lives. And sometimes we need something to help us build momentum. And that's where Duolingo comes in. It can help a lot of people stay on track because a lot of us have 5 minutes a day to practice language. A lot of us have 10 minutes a day to practice the language. And because you're motivated to maintain your streak on Duolingo and your phone is literally like always with you, you're going to be more likely to practice this new language. On the Duolingo app, the practice sessions are short, they are accessible, very easy to use, like everything is super straightforward about the app. And because it's so easy to use, it's fun to use, you can literally access it like anytime. It creates an anchor. And in some of my previous videos, I already talked about this concept of anchor in language learning. It's basically something that is going to make you come back to language learning no matter what, no matter how busy your life gets. For me, it's my weekly lessons with my Spanish teacher, because I feel very serious about taking up someone else's time. And if I booked a class, I can't just cancel it because I feel lazy or I don't feel like studying Spanish today. No, like I booked the class, I paid money, I'm literally taking up someone else's time, so I absolutely have to show up. This is my anchor. If for you, Duolingo can become that anchor, great. And why do I talk about anchors so often? Because they help us build a language learning habit. The app can really help you build a language learning habit, especially if you have never studied a foreign language in your life before. I think I saw one person say something like, Duolingo is a wonderful first step on the ladder to acquiring a new language. And I really agree with that statement. Once you start learning a new language, you're pretty much creating a new habit. And we all know that to create a new habit, you have to start small. Small, consistent steps lead to big results, lead to you achieving your big goals, and basically your big goals then later create you, who you become later in life. And so I can honestly see how for a lot of people, Duolingo can become this first step towards becoming advanced in a foreign language later in life. Obviously, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, Duolingo is an amazing app for beginners. Like a lot of people can build a solid beginner foundation on the app and then move on to using some other resources or continue using Duolingo but also use some other resources to progress faster and become advanced sooner. Yes, Duolingo can even help you have simple conversations like, hello, I'm Veronica, I'm 24 years old, I live in this country, I'm from that country, these are my hobbies, stuff like that. Like very simple, very basic conversations. But once you realize that you wanna go further than that, you are going to have to use some other resources. And obviously for a lot of people, a huge benefit of Duolingo is that they don't have to spend a lot of money to learn a language. The free version of the app has extensive content, a lot of lessons, a lot of exercises. You can practice a lot of different languages, and you can even practice less commonly taught languages. And usually those languages tend to be more expensive to learn if you were to learn them with a teacher, for example. Like I learned that on Duolingo you can learn Welsh or Navajo or Hawaiian, and those languages might not be typically available in traditional language courses, or they might be very expensive to learn. So let's talk about the main takeaway of this video. What do I want you to take away from it? I think Duolingo is a great resource to get started on your language learning journey. But I really want you to remember that it's just one piece of a big puzzle. If you imagine your language learning as this big, complex, colorful puzzle, Duolingo could be a part of it. Just a part of it, not the whole puzzle. But your progress absolutely depends on how you use the app and what other resources to use, because I know a lot of people use Duolingo, laying on the couch, feeling lazy and not really paying a lot of attention, and they don't use any other resources. So obviously those people are gonna progress a lot slower. So I don't think it should be your sole resource. You are responsible for your language learning journey, not Duolingo. So make sure to diversify your resources. I think you can use Duolingo to stay consistent at the very beginning and build a solid foundation, but please add other resources like books, maybe lessons, practice with native speakers. Again, make it fun and do a lot of different things. We all know that consistency is key, and if Duolingo helps you stay motivated, that's great. However, if you think that Duolingo is consuming time you can spend on other, more effective activities, then reconsider its use. I think it's going to be it for this video. If you found it helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to create a beautiful website in a fun and easy way, make sure to check out Squarespace by using my link below that will give you 10% off. If you want to continue learning about different language learning apps, you're definitely going to enjoy my video where I rank top language learning apps. I talk about pros and cons of each app and really help you find the best tool for your language learning journey. So make sure to click right here and keep on watching. I'll see you there.